You know, I'm probably the only person in this room who's voted for you and against you. So keep that in mind when you answer this question, all right? Your record on healthcare is abominable. Not abominable, that's the wrong word to use. I disagree with your actions on healthcare. You voted to replace, not to replace, but to abolish the Affordable Health Care Act. You had no replacement at that time on the table. You voted consistently. You wanted to change, you voted to change the amount of hours from a 30-hour work week for considered a full-time employee to a 40-hour work week. So people, companies, municipalities could take their workers who were part-time workers, or as in the case of my son, who was a substitute teacher in the school district, they lowered his hours to 30 so they didn't have to give him health care. Now,
That was part of Obamacare, though. That was one of the flaws of Obamacare.
Oh, yeah.
a flaw to you, but not to me, not to someone who believes people should have health care. As a person who has a 19-year-old disabled son who needs health care and who was on chips and hopefully he'll have some sort of coverage past his 19th birthday, your actions are not helpful. Now, what is your policy for a replacement for the Affordable Health Care Act? Or is your answer, let's go back to the way it was, which is millions of people who can't afford health care, millions of people who can't afford drugs, even though the Affordable Health Care Act really did not much to help with the price of drugs. And I can tell you as a parent who has a son who's on 5 seizure medications, pricing on narcotics is for children and for adults is important.
Yes.
All right, what's your policy?
Sure. So you touched on a lot of different healthcare issues. I'm going to go through each one. The first is the Affordable Care Act. I believe the Affordable Care Act is fundamentally flawed. I think passing healthcare by a single party, in both cases, is not the right approach. I think any healthcare solution should be bipartisan when you have 20% of the economy that's at stake. Any healthcare reform should absolutely cover those pre-existing conditions. We should not open up that discussion. You
But
have to cover those pre-existing
I don't want to interrupt you,
conditions.
but your rejection, your overturning of the Affordable Health Care Act would have taken that pre-existing conditions out of the, you had no replacement for it.
There was a replacement.
That's
People
right.
disagree with the replacement. The replacement is a market-based solution where you're allowed to purchase healthcare.
No, you gave states,
That's it.
Elise, please, you gave states the right to charge people with pre-existing conditions through their insurance provider higher rates.
Not in New York. In New York,
It's
everyone
not just,
is covered.
we're not worried about just New York here. I'm a citizen of the United States. For instance, if we do away with, I won't get into that, but I'm a citizen of the United States. I care as much about a guy in Ohio or Nebraska as I do about someone in Fulton County.
Yeah.
And I think
That's
we
right.
all should.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that sentiment. But again, here's where I think we need to move forward. You asked, I don't support going back to where things were. Moving forward, one, it needs to be bipartisan. What have we done in the interim? We've supported rural health care through community health centers, a bill that I wrote. We have so many community health centers in this district, and they need coverage. Number two, make sure hospitals get the reimbursements that they deserve. In this district, we have Medicare-dependent hospitals, we have sole community provider hospitals. They need to be reimbursed at adequate levels because hospitals are really struggling to make ends meet in New York State. Number three, pre-existing conditions absolutely have to be covered. We also have to require coverage of mental health care, as that, today is Mental Health Awareness Day actually, so it's fitting to talk about it. And on prescription drugs, I'm on bills that are bipartisan. I think prescription drugs and drug prices are hurting everybody. Get the generics on the market as quickly as possible. We should not allow brand name drugs, which are important medications, to dictate what the cost is, because ultimately the consumer is paying. We've got to get generics onto the market faster. There are bipartisan solutions to do that. FDA is moving in the right direction. They're approving more drugs faster, which means generics will get there quicker. We also have to make sure insurance companies, when they get savings, that they go to the patient, that they are not, given back to the insurance company, that they actually go to the patient so that we can lower those premium costs. What I don't support is moving towards a Medicare for all approach.
I'm sure you don't. I'm sure you don't. Another question. Can I follow up on this? It's a very important issue to
Because
me.
I want to get to everybody.
I know you do.
Yeah.
A lot of tickets in here.
I understand it, you're a great guy, but I want to get finished with this because I think healthcare is a premium issue.
It is.
More so than impeachment, more so than Syria, more so, healthcare affects every American.
And don't you agree with me that you think we should be spending more time talking about healthcare costs than we are about impeachment?
I agree with you. I will tell you another thing, is that you had a chance, instead of repealing these, the Republicans stole the House, the Senate, and the presidency. And instead of trying to reform the Affordable Health Care Act, while you were in power, you chose instead to do away with it.
That's right.
And offer no substitute.
That's
Don't you
right.
think it would have been a much more bipartisan solution and a fair solution, that when you were in power, the Republicans in Congress, the Senate, and the President, that they reformed Obamacare, or the Affordable Health Care Act, and put the things they wanted in and tried to negotiate the things they didn't want out? Wouldn't that have been the most logical, fair way to do it?
Sure,
And you
well,
didn't do it.
So I ran in 2014, I ran on repealing and replacing the Affordable Care Act. I think it's fundamentally flawed. People are still seeing their prices go up. The new direction needs to be bipartisan solutions, focusing on greater access, lowering costs, and improving quality. I think those are principles we can agree on. I appreciate your perspective.
Why didn't you do it from 2016 to 2018?
I did vote to repeal and replace the Affordable
But why
Care Act.
didn't you do bipartisan issues to try to create that?
We get another question.
I'm sorry.
We did do the community health centers, we did do increased funding.
It's no good if you don't have insurance or enough
The next
money.
person that filled out a red